Got Palmer Thomas on the line from Dogs 247 Sports. The NFL draft is upcoming, of course. April 23rd through the 25th will be an interesting affair considering the situation in the country. But players still coming off the board in the same way that they do each and every year. And, of course, plenty of Georgia Bulldogs in play. Not necessarily at wide receiver and tight end. I think we'll see that in future years. It's just one of those years in which there's still talent all over the place on the roster, but underclassmen talent. But what do we have? I see Lawrence CAGER, of course, spent most of his career in Miami, caught 33 balls for you last year, and got a tight end in play.
Yeah, I think CAGER is the biggest name there, obviously. Looking at the production that he had this past season at Georgia and, what he did at Miami as well. I think that'll be interesting to weigh. Because what you heard coming out of Miami was, he's prone to drop some balls here and there. You didn't really see that at Georgia. You saw him be, he only played 9 games due to injury, but when he was out there, he was Georgia's best wide receiver. Maybe not from a talent perspective, because that would probably go to George Pickens and, the upside there with Pickens. You mentioned we'll see Georgia players, down the road in the NFL draft at wide receiver and tight end. He's a guy that I would watch down the road. But, as for now, Lawrence CAGER is probably that guy. I would say he's probably a third day guy. And to be able to get a guy, a player like that in CAGER that late in the draft, like I said earlier, just a really, really, really deep class of wide receivers. You're going to see several big names go off the board in the first round. And, to be able to get, as a GM or somebody looking at this, to be able to get a guy like Lawrence CAGER that put up those big numbers, played in those big games at a school like Georgia and in a conference like the SEC, and be able to get that as a, 5th, 6th round draft pick, I think that's really enticing. Tyler Simmons, he's another guy that made his name more so on special teams. You could see him being signed as a special teams guy, trying to, he's got the speed. He's got, some ability to play wide receiver. Georgia used him a lot on, reverses and stuff. And, I always say when I come on here and bring him up, he's probably best known for, the blocked punt that should have been in the national championship. And so, I think there's a place in the NFL for guys that make their names on special teams. Tyler Simmons could be one of those. Kirby Smart has always praised him as being one of the best special teams players on the team. He found his place on, kickoff on punt coverage and stuff. I think that's a place that he could be. And then as for the tight ends, Charlie Woerner and Eli Wolf, neither of them are going to, are huge eye-popping guys. You don't really see tight ends like that anymore, though. I would say Woerner got the opportunity to compete in the NFL Combine. Wolf put on a pro day of his own and ran a really impressive 40 time. And so, I think with both of them, you've got some upside there that, with the way that tight ends are used in the NFL now, they weren't utilized a ton at Georgia. I believe each of them only caught 1 touchdown. But, with the way that tight ends are used, those are both two guys that I could see being taken. Woerner more so probably in that third day, with the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds happening then. And Wolf as a potential undrafted free agent.